does life coaching have to do with the Black Lives Matter movement? A lot of people would look at these two things as completely unrelated. But my stance is that coaches can play a very significant part in this movement. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Leslie, and I am an American life coach based here in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm appealing right now to anyone interested in or working in personal development and wellness. When it comes to issues of social justice and the Black Lives Matter movement, there's been a lot of silence and a lot of naivete in some of the coaching communities and personal development communities that I'm involved in. And if you happen to be watching this as one of my coaching friends and you're wondering if I'm talking about you, look, this has been an ongoing concern of mine for a very long time. There are a lot of different people and different entities that are a part of this whole issue, so I'm not addressing anyone personally. That said, if you do think I'm talking about you, it could be a really good time to consider what I'm about to say about all of this. The current state of the Black Lives Matter movement has been highlighting huge systemic problems and inspiring an unprecedented show of solidarity across the entire world. My social media feeds over the last month or so have been filled with messages in support of BLM, but there has also been a lot of devil's advocacy, all lives matter stuff. What this illustrates is a divide around a very complex issue. Ideally, the debate around which phrase is very damaging should be easy to determine, but it's the factors that underlie that debate that make a lot of people very uncomfortable. So what happens? Some people who are not Black, Indigenous, people of color are taking very public steps towards being true allies, educating themselves, emphasizing the point that although they can never truly understand our lived experiences, they do very publicly stand with us, not just through telling, but through showing, or at least trying to. Sharing content from people of color, publicly calling out certain injustices as they happen. And whether it's simply performative or demonstrates true actions towards social change can be looked at on a case-by-case basis, but that's not what I'm focusing on in this video. The point is that it is a start towards a movement for more understanding and more social justice. And this is where life coaches in particular can hit a speed bump. In the personal development and wellness space, there has been this pervasive message supporting the idea of positive vibes only. Obviously, I have no problem with people wanting to spread positivity. That would be ridiculous. But what I do have a problem with is toxic positivity. The kinds of messages that suggest that the way out of any sort of struggle is to just focus on the positive, or just shift your mindset, to just ask the universe and manifest a better life for yourself. Essentially what that does is invite people to just do this until all the bad things and all the bad people go away. And then you can retreat into your own little bubble. And it really doesn't help the situation that there are even public figures saying things that, like, Black slaves were acting out of choice and that it was a mindset problem. Like, it's almost too ridiculous to even be offensive. Almost. Life coaches who sincerely want to generate good in the world have to accept that for that to happen, systemic change needs to happen. And focusing on an individual client is a part of that change, but we as coaches also have an opportunity here. We as coaches need to tap into our own superpowers as leaders and change makers and show up when we are needed. And right now, we are needed. There are coaches who are speaking out about Black Lives Matter and about social injustice, but that can be really hard to find in amongst all the positive vibes only nonsense. And if you are a coach and find what I'm saying offensive or untrue, please get in touch with me and let's get to the bottom of all of this together. I know that coaching can be a cutthroat industry, and we're not all Tony Robbins. Okay, not everyone can financially afford to take the risk of offending potential clients or collaborators, but if you are on board with my message, I really want to hear from you. Now, I'm saying all of this as a lifelong activist. My father was a member of the original chapter of the Black Panther Party back in the 60s in Oakland, California. I was raised by someone who embodied the pursuit of personal success for the purpose of driving change. I've also been an African American and Latina woman my entire life. Ignoring social injustices and racism and pretending that we're past all of that was never an option for me growing up. So much of my personal strength and resilience comes from constantly navigating very race-specific obstacles. And yeah, a lot of people cannot relate to that unless they've been through those experiences themselves. And so much of what I bring into my business and into my coaching comes from recognizing the changes that need to occur within individuals so that they can go out and they can change the world. We as coaches have an opportunity to take a very firm and public stance on this issue. We can work together and speak up for change. And if you're a person out there who is thinking about enlisting a life coach, you can book a free consultation with me through my website. Or, even if you have someone else in mind, something that I always strongly suggest people to do, whether they're looking to hire a life coach, a counselor, a therapist, an energy healer, especially if it's for a longer term relationship, is to do a deep dive into their social media. Not just at their hashtag solidarity posts, but at the people they align themselves with, the sources that they share from. Look into the rigor of their research into topics that align with your values or that are very important to you. Look at the kinds of comments they encourage on their posts through the way they react to them, and then, and only then, decide if they are the person that you can trust to walk with you through your story without judgment, with a clear head, and with decent critical thinking skills. And of course, when I say critical thinking skills, I mean real critical thinking skills, not their ability to use Google to bolster their own confirmation bias. And here's another tip. If their social media shows that they're palling around with a bunch of racists, they probably shouldn't be working in helping professions. So, do you agree or disagree? Leave me a comment. Give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with someone who thinks systemic racism doesn't affect them, because dismantling systemic racism will actually benefit everyone. Follow me on my socials, subscribe to my channel, and just get in touch however you would like. I'll see you in the next video.